I laughed when he found out the baby wasn't his. Now I'm alone raising a child while he moved on. Yeah, that's where this story ends up. But let me tell you how I got here. Because honestly, life has a way of getting messy when you're trying to keep too many secrets. I'm Kyra, and I was 24 years old when everything fell apart. Let me start by saying Michael was literally perfect on paper. The kind of man you marry, not just date. He was stable, hardworking, and incredibly kind. The type of guy who never forgot an anniversary, always checked in to see how my day was, and somehow managed to love me even when I didn't deserve it. We met at this tech startup where I was doing social media marketing, and he was a senior software engineer, the kind of guy everyone at work admired. He was smart, ambitious, and already on track to build a successful future. And me? I was just floating through life, hopping from one thing to another, never really sure of what I wanted. Michael was the first person who made me feel grounded. So why did I ruin everything? Michael and I started dating, and he worshipped the ground I walked on. He took care of me in ways I never even knew I needed, little things, like remembering my coffee order, leaving notes on my desk at work, and always making sure I got home safely. He was consistent. He never played games, never made me wonder if he was serious about me, and that should have been a good thing, right? But the problem was, I was used to toxic relationships. I had always been drawn to the wrong kind of men, the ones who made me chase them, who kept me on edge, who made love feel like a roller coaster instead of a steady road. Michael was different. He was steady, safe, predictable, and I confused that with boring. I should have seen what I had. I should have appreciated his loyalty, his kindness, his love. Instead, I let my own selfishness destroy everything. One night, Michael was out of town for work, and that's when Jason came back into my life. Jason was my toxic ex, the guy I could never fully shake off. He was reckless, exciting, and the complete opposite of Michael. I ran into him at a bar, and at first it was innocent. We caught up, shared a few laughs. But then one drink turned into two turned into three. And suddenly all the memories came rushing back. The way he used to make my heart race. The way he knew exactly what to say to make me feel wanted. And before I could stop myself, I was in his bed. I woke up instantly regretting it. I told myself it was a one-time mistake, that I could just forget about it and move on, that Michael would never have to know. And for a while I believed that. Until I found out I was pregnant. The moment I saw the 2 pink lines, my stomach dropped. Michael was over the moon when I told him. He picked me up in his arms, kissed my forehead, and started talking about our future. Baby names, nurseries, a life together. And me? I was dying inside. Because deep down, I knew there was a chance the baby wasn't his. I told myself that lying was the best option, that Michael was the better father, that he could give this baby a real family. I convinced myself that I was protecting him. But the truth? I was only protecting myself. So I let him love a child that might not even be his. I let him believe a lie. And for months, everything seemed perfect. Until the baby was born. The baby was beautiful, but the moment Michael saw him, I could see something shift in his eyes. Because the baby looked nothing like him. At first, he brushed it off. "Babies change," he said. "He'll look like me as he grows." But his mother wasn't convinced. Neither were his friends. And then, one day, Michael came home with a DNA test. And you know what I did? I laughed. Not because I thought it was funny, but because I was nervous, because I thought there was no way he'd actually go through with it. But he did. And when the results came back, Michael's entire world shattered. I will never forget the way he looked at me. Like I was a complete stranger, like I was nothing. "Tell me this isn't true." I couldn't. "You let me believe he was mine." His voice shook. "You let me love him. You let me plan a future for a child that was never even mine." I begged him to forgive me. I pleaded with him to stay. But he just walked out the door. He didn't yell. He didn't curse me out. He just left. And he never came back. Michael moved on. Fast. I saw him at a coffee shop a few months later, sitting with a new woman. She was beautiful. poised, she looked at him the way I used to. And on her finger, an engagement ring. Meanwhile, I was sitting alone, trying to scrounge up enough money for a cup of coffee. Raising a child alone. Jason, he didn't want to be a father, he made that very clear. So now, it's just me. Me, my lies, and the consequences of my own choices. I don't get a happy ending. I don't get a second chance. All I have is regret. So if you're listening to this, don't be me. Don't take the good ones for granted. Because once they're gone forever. Goodbye.